Hi, my name is Daniel Johns. Let's build a simple bookshelf. I have two pieces of scrap 3/4 inch wood that I decided to model in SketchUp just to quickly give me an idea of what sort of size bookshelf I can make with what I've got. So this is what I've decided to do. I'm going to do dado slots for each shelf. Alright, I've done enough modeling in SketchUp that I'm pretty comfortable with the cuts that I need to make and the direction that I'm going with this shelf. So now I've got to get these boards down, and of course I've stacked a bunch of other little things on top, so it's going to take a little while. Yeah, a lot of time is just spent getting to what you need. Before I make my cuts, I make sure that my saw blade only protrudes a little bit below the piece that I'm working on. The less blade that's exposed, the safer it is. So this material has a lot of imperfections in it. It's got a cup in it. It's been used as shelving in a garage for probably 20-25 years. So if you're looking for a video that shows a really beautiful end result, you may want to check elsewhere. But if you want to see a functional shelf made out of material that I have in my garage, keep watching. Alright, so I've got the wood supported on both sides of the cut. So that way there's no pinching of the blade. Alright, I've got all the shelves cut and I've got the sides cut. Now I just need to make the slots to put the shelves in. You might call it a dado slot. Shelf slots. We were just not dealing with straight lumber here. So what I'm going to do is clamp it best I can. So I'm the kind of guy that has a 1/2 inch DeWALT router but doesn't have a table saw, and I use 20-year-old material to make bookshelves. Alright, I'm set up to do my first route with the router and cut some slots for the shelves. After a quick sanding, got the rough edges off. This is where we're at. We've got some shelves, and then I've got the sides over here. Next, we'll put them together. After dry fitting it a little bit, I'm pretty encouraged. There's lots of little bows and things that we'll need to work through in order to make it work out, but I think what I'm going to do is use some screws. Since I don't have enough clamps, or big enough clamps, I'm going to use some wood glue and some screws and just tighten it down a little bit. I think it's going to work. In order to make things go a little faster, I'm going to use a piece of scrap wood that I had lying around and drill a couple holes in this where I want my pilot holes to be in the shelvings, and then just kind of use that as a template and hit each slot. Alright, I've got my template and my first 2 holes are done. I've decided I'm just going to use screws for now. I'm not exactly sure how well it's going to fit together, and I don't want to put glue all over it and find out something didn't go quite right. So I think the screws will hold it just fine, and if not, after I put it together once, I can take it apart and I can put glue in there if it really needs it. I'm going to countersink the screw heads, so I've wrapped a little bit of tape around the countersink bit here, so I try to get the same depth for each head, and let's see how it goes. I'm using these little decking screws because that's what I have on hand. If you remember, this piece of wood has a pretty good cup in it, so let's see what happens now that we've got the point of putting it together. Not perfect, but not bad. Wood is pretty forgiving. Even when it's really cupped and bowed, you can just go joint by joint and kind of worm it into place, get it get each joint right, and then the rest will follow. At least that's what I did here. I think it worked out. Well, that's about it. Let's see what this thing looks like. Well, there it is. It's not perfect, but overall I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of my videos, hit the subscribe button.